Hey everyone, welcome back to JS Composite Works YouTube channel, which sounds a little weird to me to say is channel because when I think of a channel, this will tell how old I am. I think of, more of the 3 channels that we used to have when I was a kid growing up, so sort of weird to me. But anyway, wanted to dive into the whole, into the whole process I'm getting ready to go into. We're starting off the week here aligning these frames that I set up, on Friday, I think it was, and ran into a little bit of an issue. And it's a small issue that required a little bit of thinking and critical analysis on how to attack it, and then consulting with the 2 CAD design people that are involved, both Casey and Jay, on a solution for it. So, and it comes in on this frame right here. Now, if you're looking in the screen, I've already looked at this in the preview, and it's not going to look right to you, but it is right. Trust me on this. This keel line, this is the bow, this keel line lines up with the rest of the frames. However, when we put this one in place here, it's skewed completely off. And there's a reason for this. And it took, an email and ultimately a phone call, and I just shot an email out on Saturday to both Jay and Casey, not expecting any kind of action on a Saturday because everybody is taking time off and not thinking about work except for me. I'm here doing stuff. But, I said, here's the situation. And Jay actually responded very quickly on email, which, not that it was unexpected, but, it was a surprise. I mean, I think it might have been about 30, 35 minutes later, and again, on a Saturday. And he said, give him a call. I paused for a few minutes to kind of get into a place where I could, jump on a phone call. And before I even finished, Jay gave me a call. So just wanted to thank Jay for such a quick response on this. And we talked it through to find out what happened. Ultimately, he knew exactly what happened, and it was one mistake out of all of these different parts. Like I said, 46 sheets of plywood, and there was just one little error. And what it was is he had picked up a point when he was adding these puzzle joints to it, and picked up a point on that shape, and it got skewed and stretched out of shape. So we came up with a solution for that. And I'll go through what that solution here is in a few minutes. So what I am aiming to do today is to get these things lined up on the bases that were built for them, get everything square and, aligned where it needs to be so that I can lock everything down in place so that, the shape will be correct. And there are 2 critical steps in this. Yes, the final finish on the mold is critical, but this one takes more importance than that, because if this thing is not square and straight from the beginning, no boat that is ever built will be square or straight from that point on. So this is the foundation from which all of these boats are going to be built, and it has to be exactly right from the very beginning. So it is probably the most crucial step in building this plug and mold. So I'm going to put this thing on time lapse so you can see what I am going through to get everything kind of squared up. And a lot of it's going to be just, boring fiddly stuff that, you have to do whenever you are starting anything of this magnitude of a build, in order to make sure that the rest of the steps are all correct. So anyway, let's get into the time lapse. Okay, so I forgot to turn the mics on. So this is going to be sped up, and this is how I ended up taking care of the issue. And you can see here that I'm talking to nobody. But anyway, basically I screw the two panels together so that they're matching, mirroring each other, and then use a pattern bit on my router to trace the outer edge of the upper panel and transfer it down onto the lower panel, which is the one that you can see is not correctly shaped. All right, so that's, I think, a good stopping point for this video. Not sure how long it's going to end up, but my feeling is it's going to get long in the tooth if I keep going on it. So we're going to wrap it up right here. So unfortunately, my explanation of what happened with this frame, I did not have the microphone turned on, so therefore it's too late to go back now. So anyway, this is all fixed, and it took. I looked on the little edit that was there, and that was only 10 minutes long. So it took 10 minutes to fix that little issue there. And again, thanks to Jade for figuring it out and confirming what I thought was going to be the solution. I still have all my fingers after running a pattern bit through 3/4 inch plywood, which is probably a little thicker than you want to. So at any rate, yeah, this thing's all squared up and ready to go. The next step for this is going to be fastening all the frames down to the base. That will, it's just a bunch of holes and screws. And from there, I'm going to do some filleting, some actual boat building techniques. So I'm going to fill all these corners to tie the longitudinal frame with the horizontal frame. So what this is it's kind of like, I think of it like a wine box. You know how they have the dividers in the box in order to keep the wine bottles from clinking together. So basically one fits over the other like this. And the problem is if this thing moves in any way, it can actually, there's still some movement there. So the whole thing can rack if I'm not, completely careful. So tying those together with some epoxy and a filleting blend of fillers in the corners will make sure this thing is nice and rigid, will not move, will not twist or anything like that during the process of putting the sheathing on. And then, ultimately fiberglassing and the finish work. So that's why I'm going to do that. It's a little extra step, but insurance that nothing's going to move, because this has to survive a truck ride to Florida. So it's going to get loaded up onto, probably either a flatbed trailer or up into the back of a box truck. And I want to make sure that it's, nothing's going to happen during that. So locking everything together in a rigid structure is really, really important, so that they have a tool that they can use multiple times over and over again should they need to make a new mold. So that's kind of my thought process behind it. So if you haven't liked or subscribed, if this is new to you, I've got a lot of other things on other than this project here that are up and coming. I just got a phone call today for another possible project that I think is going to be really interesting, and it's something I would have never thought about. So it's not completely boat related, but it is composites, and yeah, I can't wait to kind of get that sort of nailed down and see if we can't have that, because it's going to be another interesting little mold making process, and then ultimately manufacturing some parts for an organization down in North Carolina. So at any rate, I'm going to finish up what I do here. As far as, you know, getting to the fillet part, I'll probably save that for the next video, but the deck mold needs to be done the exact same thing too. Yeah, we'll get this thing wrapped up so we can start making it looking like a boat shaped object. So that's it for today. Again, like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next installment.